and Rick Weimer of West Point. Serve Nebraska thanks all nominators, nominees, and sponsors for helping us celebrate volunteerism. To learn more about the Step Forward Awards and this year's honorees, visit serve.nebraska.gov. Sponsored by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation Council.
Veterans, do you know what local, state, and federal benefits and services you're eligible to receive? Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Happy Sunday. We wake up with the Huskers win as they take down Purdue. They win the first road game of the year, but this is What's Next 24. We got the host, as always, Mike and Sherry in studio, along with a former Heisman Husker legend in himself, Johnny the Jet Rodgers, joins us this morning as well. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. You can put a face to the voice. Use the streams at YouTube, X, and if you got Allo Cable, channel 961 on Allo. All right, with that being said, I'll throw it over to the host. We got Mike, Sherry, and like I said, a guest, Johnny the Jet Rodgers, in studio today as well.
Well, welcome to What's Next on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Mike, and I'm along here with Sherry. We're pleased to bring you a show that offers hope, inspiration, and motivation. We're thrilled to introduce our book, Next 24, Discover Happiness and True Joy in Your Life while you create a legacy. This book's now available at Barnes & Noble at South Point Mall and on Amazon. For that, I'll turn it over to Sherry. Sherry, good morning.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Harrison.
Morning.
Are you excited for today?
I am pumped. I am so pumped.
Why don't we just go ahead and
yes,
introduce our
you
special
guys,
guest?
This is a red letter day for us. Hopefully a red letter day for you. I mean, we are so electrified about this episode of What's Next. Today we have a true legend in the house. Joining us is none other than the iconic Johnny the Jet Rodgers, a name that resonates with greatness in the world of football and beyond. Johnny, affectionately is known as, like I just said, the Jet. That's what everybody knew him as and still knows him as. He's a hometown hero from Omaha, Nebraska. His incredible journey began at Omaha's Tech High, where he was named High School Athlete of the Year. And that was just the beginning of his amazing athletic journey. He then soared to new heights right here at University of Nebraska, where he dazzled fans with his speed, agility, and unmatched talent. Johnny's college career was nothing short of spectacular, inspiring. It earned him the prestigious Heisman Trophy in '72, along with numerous other accolades. And I believe that he was the first Heisman Trophy winner from Nebraska. But the story doesn't stop there. He took his talents to the professional stage, making waves in the Canadian Football League, playing for the Montreal Alouettes, and later in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers. His remarkable achievements on the field earned him a well-deserved spot in the College Football Hall of Fame. Beyond his athletic process, however, Johnny is a symbol of resilience and redemption. Despite facing challenges, he's emerged stronger and continues to inspire countless individuals with his story of perseverance and triumph. So buckle up, you guys. Get ready to be inspired as we dive into the extraordinary life of Johnny Rodgers, from his record-breaking performances to his enduring legacy. This is a conversation you won't want to miss. We have so much to cover today. We're going to skip over our normal affirmations. And Ricky Simmons, we love you, but we're going to skip over reading out of your motivational book too this morning.
Oh, this is Ricky's station?
Ricky on Sunday nights. He sure does. And he's got a book, 365 Days of Redemption, that we always read. Johnny, welcome. Glad you're here. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. I'm glad I'm awake.
I know.
You can catch me nodding.
I know. We appreciate you driving down. This is very, very special. As I mentioned today, we want to highlight your life as well as the football life and what you've been. So if you don't mind, if we can just jump in. Can you tell us what growing up in Omaha was like for you in the early years?
Well, my first recollection of life actually is used to live on 10th and Locust. They call it the Omaha River Bottoms. It's still there, and that's where the poorest of the poorest lived. My grandparents had migrated from down south and came up, and we lived in a neighborhood where they had basically all clapboard houses. We didn't have electricity, we didn't have running water, we didn't have a toilet. We had outhouses.
Wow.
And my biggest challenge every day was just getting up, trying to get to the outhouse without the big red rooster trying to run me down and dog me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And you started by when starting. I started off at Lothrop grade school, and my first accolades, I was actually a tumbler. I was going through the gym one day, and I seen the fellas. They had a tumbling team, and so they were doing backflips. And I told the coach, "Well, I can do that." I told the guy, "I can do that." He said, "You can do that?" He said, "Yeah, I can do that." And so he came over to put the belt on me, so they put a belt on you so they could.
Yeah, I remember that.
And before he could get there, I just did a backflip. He said, "You're on the team."
Wow.
And from then on, we used to do tumbling and performances at the crossroads where everybody would come to see all of us perform. And we do a pyramid where we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then other ones. And I would dive over the pyramid.
Oh my gosh.
For the crowd. That would be the act that would be to close the events up. And that's pretty much how I started off in grade school. Then I went to Horseman Junior High School where I had a pretty good career. And then I started the YMCA with Josh Gibson. Josh Gibson and Don Benning, they were my first baseball coach.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of people don't realize it, but I played baseball at Nebraska. And I got drafted to the Dodgers out of high school.
Yeah, I was
to go play.
That was I forgot that. And
it's been a long time. I almost forgot too.
And when I heard that, that's just amazing. Let's back up just a little. How did you start? Had you always had this strong interest in sports? How did it evolve?
Well, like I said, I had a natural ability, like I said, in the third grade where we just started.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first time I really, in the third grade, the first time I experienced just hanging around other people. Like I said, living in Omaha River Bottom, there were no other kids and stuff that were there. I was almost by myself most of the time because we just didn't have a neighborhood where we had children.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just my family members pretty much. Mm-hmm. So when I got to the third grade, I was able to interact with other kids at Lothrop, and then it just went on from there. And I started off with the tumbling, and then we played baseball and basketball, and then I ran into YMCA is where I learned to play football and basketball and went on into the baseball. And Josh Gibson, Bob Gibson's brother, was my first coach. And he was really the reason that I got developed enough to be able to play professional baseball because he had taught Bob how to play. And Bob, Bob Gibson went on to do great things. Yeah. And so that type of a coach, he was a world-class teacher or coach or mentor type of deal. And he was one of my first ones. And I was fortunate enough in life to have quite a few different mentors. I didn't have a father. I didn't know my father until I met my father when I was 17 years old.
Oh my!
So I didn't have anybody, any type of guidance except my grandpa. Early in life was really my first mentor, and my grandpa, he couldn't read or write.
Wow!
He worked at the Cudahy Packing House, and he claimed a big check. So he had, even though he couldn't read or write, he made the most money, pretty much in the family. So he still pretty much ran things. My grandmother really ran things, and they just kind of took care of me and. Took that direction, and then I left home when I was 14.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I didn't like the way things were going.
Mm-hmm.
So I split, and I took my grandpa's car and drove to Detroit.
Oh
my goodness!
I drove to Detroit and hung out for about the summer or whatever, and I had a grandma in Detroit, my mother's mother, and I was able to contact her. I went by her place and stayed there for summer. And my grandmother told me if I came back to Omaha that I could stay with her. Mm-hmm. And so I did. And so I stayed with my grandmother until I got out of college. And then when I went to Montreal, I took my grandmother. And at that time I had 2 kids. And, we took the kids and they took care of the kids and I took care of everything else.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Tell us about high school sports. Now, you did track as well, did you not?
Well, I was they have a rule there called the Johnny Rodgers rule that they've made. And Johnny Rodgers rule is that you can't play 4 sports, because I played 4 sports in high school. I played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track at the same time.
Wow.
They used to take me to the track meet in my baseball uniform, and I would do the long jump and the triple jump, and then they would drive me to the baseball game, and then I would read in the paper the next day who I beat. And
Johnny, when did you kind of begin to know, as you were getting involved in sports, that, oh, hey, I've got something here?
All the time.
All the time.
I was all the time. Well, like I said, I'm doing the things all the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm winning in long jump and the triple jump. I ran the relay team when we had time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I played basketball, baseball, and coming up, like I said, Josh Gibson. When you have a guy like Josh Gibson, you know you're going to be a baseball player. Okay, I like basketball, but I was too short for basketball. And playing football, I had George Barber was my coach there, and then Bob Rose over at Horseman Junior High. He taught me basketball and football with Pete Rigattuso. And I really did very well in flag football with Don Benny and Josh Gibson all the time. So every season there was at the Omaha Boys Club and the YMCA, we had a different sport, a different season, and I was always at the Boys Club all year long, and the YMCA all year long, because I didn't have parents, so I stayed pretty much at the Boys and the Girls Club or at the YMCA.
And if I read right, you were the Omaha or the state athlete of the year, correct? Out of high school?
Yes. I was the king of the prom and athlete of the year.
Well, I forgot about the baseball, because I know everybody talks about football. Tell us, if you would, about the decision. I mean, I'm sure if to be drafted by the Dodgers, but you didn't go. You didn't go.
Well, the deal is, when I was 11 years old, somewhere out of the universe, I came up with this idea that I had to make $100,000. I was going to make $100,000. I didn't have any clue whatsoever what $100,000 were, because we didn't have any money at all. I didn't know what $100 was, let alone $100,000. And so, but I was going to get $100,000. And so I would go around telling people that I was going to make $100,000. I'm going to get $100,000. I don't care what that takes. I'm going to get $100,000. And my mother told me to stop going around telling people that, because if I didn't stop telling people that, people were going to think I was crazy, and they were going to put me in a home, because black people didn't make $100,000. So you might as well just quit saying that.
Oh,
and so I never quit saying it. I keep telling everybody I'm going to make $100,000 no matter what. Then I got drafted to the Dodgers to play baseball, and I make the team. And so they tell me they want to write me a contract, and it was $25,000. I said, 25,000. I wasn't very bright, but I knew that wasn't 100. That wasn't what I was after. And then I was a 3-year contract, so I'd make 75,000, which was really good money at that particular point in time. But I didn't take it, and I came back, and I was contemplating. Bob Devaney was after me to go to Nebraska, and I'm trying to get to USC, because I figure if I get to USC, you're going to go to the pros. I'm trying to get to the pros now so I can get $100,000. So Bob Devaney tells me that if I come to Nebraska, that they will let me play baseball and they'll let me play football. And if I put those two together, at my senior year, I will be able to have a better chance of getting $100,000. So not only did I play baseball and football, but my sophomore, junior year, Bob comes to me and he tells me he wants me to give up baseball. And because they want to find all these different ways they want to be able to get me to football. And I said, Coach, what are you, crazy? You told me that I could play baseball. Goddamn well, I'm trying to get $100,000. You know what I'm after. He said, yeah, Johnny, he said, but if you were to give up baseball willingly, you would be the first person we ever endorsed for the Heisman Trophy. So I said, well, put me in, Coach.
Wow.
And so I went on further, and not only we won 2 national championships, and I won the Heisman Trophy, and I got drafted in the first round to the San Diego Chargers. And I said, golly, I mean, this should be it. So I get drafted and I go out to the Chargers and I get a contract and they offer me $50,000. And I said, well, maybe my mother's right. Maybe black people don't get $100,000. Maybe that's just too damn much. And nobody was really, as I look back in history, nobody really was getting that kind of money. That was a lot of money at that particular point in time. So I made a call with my agent to Montreal, and Sam Berger, the owner of the Montreal Alouettes, invited me up. And when I got off the plane, he asked me, he said, what is it going to take for you to bring that Heisman Trophy and come up and play for the Montreal Alouettes? And I told him $100,000. And he told me, okay.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And then I had actually got my dream. And at that particular time, nobody in NFL or CFL was making $100,000. And then out of somewhere, I heard about $1 million. I asked my friend, I said, what's $1 million? He said, well, $1 million is 10 times $100,000. I said, no shit. I said, I better start thinking about that. So I started thinking about how can I get $1 million? And I came up with a little plan and I approached the team. And a couple of years later, I was the first person to sign $1 million contract in the world.
Oh,
wow.
The
NFL, no.
Oh, I didn't know
they
that.
weren't making $100,000. It was 8 years after I got my contract that they started getting $100,000 contracts.
Wow. Johnny, let me ask you, going back, because I know times have changed so much. Out of high school, what was the recruiting process like? Did you go out and talk to USC and all these other schools?
No, I've made a couple visits, but they came to me more.
Yeah,
right. They were coming to me. In no way I was trying to get out. I would, like I said, my whole focus was on SC.
Right. Yeah.
If I could get to SC, I could make it. And Bob Devaney and his crew, they were after me here. Yeah. And like I said, and I had other people that were really in Nebraska that was trying to make sure I stayed here, to stay in Nebraska. And so I made a deal to come here, and it worked out.
Yeah, well, thank God for all those people. That's all I can say.
Well, I thought it was a great story. It was USC, you wanted to play tailback. Is that correct?
I wanted to play football, period.
Play football, period.
Yeah, period. I pretty much was always, I never really favored, when I was in high school, I never played tailback. I played mostly wing. And, tailbacks, they run the ball a lot, but they get hurt a lot. My whole claim to fame is I was able to do so many different things well. And I was, an all-purpose player. I could play wherever you needed me to be. And so, like when I was in high school, John Butler was the running back, and John was better than me. Matter of fact, John is the only guy in history that I can remember that I will admit that was better than me. Mm-hmm. He was a bad man. Mm-hmm. I couldn't beat out John. Mm-hmm. And he was a senior and I was a sophomore. And so it wasn't until later that when he graduated that I did do some running back, but mostly I would be all purpose as I played at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Did it frustrate you? I remember hearing an article that you said at that time, as a freshman, you don't play varsity. You had to play on the freshman team.
Right. That was the rule. That was NCAA rule.
That was the rule. Was that frustrating? I mean,
that was a rule.
I know it was, but you were so talented.
Well, you can't be frustrated about the rule because I didn't know any different. No one had ever had been able to play as a freshman to play varsity. You did not play varsity until your sophomore year, and then a lot of people couldn't play then.
Wow.
So you didn't play. They had the freshman team. So you came to Nebraska and you played on the freshman team, and your freshman team played other universities that had freshman teams. And so that was just the way the process was.
And I heard Tom mention one time that freshman team was pretty special.
Oh yeah, we had Rich Glover on it, Willie Harper was on it, John Dutton, Monty Johnson. There's a lot of different people. Wow. And in 1969, that's when we were freshmen, Nebraska won their first Big 8 conference championship in years, under those guys. And you could see it clearly with the type of freshman team that we had and how we were playing as freshmen, that we were going to make an addition to that team that was already a championship team. And so the next year we won our first national championship.
Yeah, exactly. Harrison, how are we doing on time?
We got just a couple minutes here left.
Okay, good. So I wanted to transition into that part. Tell me the first time you met Bob Devaney.
Well, Bob Devaney came to recruit me when I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And like I said, he came to my house and he, talked to my mother and then made the deal with me to be able to play football and baseball when I was a senior in high school.
I've often heard that you two had a very special relationship.
Well, I guess so.
You did.
I was able to assist in him getting his first national championship, and he was able to assist me in getting the Heisman Trophy. And
then your position coach was Tom. Is that correct?
Tom was the position coach. Tom was the position coach and was like an intern when we first started off. But Tom was one of the smartest coaches and the youngest coach. And the 4 years that we were there, he proved himself to be one of the most diligent coaches on the team. And he would study and work the plays and came up. And like I said, people don't know that about audibles. You know what audible is, right? Mm-hmm. We were audibling when other people weren't. We had no idea, but I think Tom might have been the first person to create the audibles where we could walk up the field without having to huddle. Other people had to go to the huddle, but we could go to the line and we could call our plays from the line. We were calling from the line when other people hadn't even heard of doing that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's just. Oh, we got to take a quick break.
Yeah, we got time for one more if you got one. But
no, we'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and take that break now, and we'll transition to those championship games. We'll be back in just a minute.
93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with the loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
The Nebraska Dental Foundation is holding a free Veterans Mission of Mercy Dental Clinic November 15th and 16th in Utah, Nebraska. Dental services are available at no cost for veterans and their spouses. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/dental clinic to learn more and register for free dental services. Appointments are limited and filling fast, so hurry to veterans.nebraska.gov/dental clinic to register for this free event. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $437 per month for 36 months. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004120, 437 per month, lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, 5,500 due signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 9/30/2024. See dealer for details.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
The Nebraska Dental Foundation is holding a free Veterans Mission of Mercy Dental Clinic November 15th and 16th in Utah, Nebraska. Dental services are available at no cost for veterans and their spouses. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/dental clinic to learn more and register for free dental services. Appointments are limited and filling fast, so hurry to veterans.nebraska.gov/dental clinic to register for this free event. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into What's Next 24. We got the host, Mike Sherry, as well as guest Johnny the Jet Rodgers, former Husker Heisman winner, won us a couple titles as well. With that being said, I want to go ahead and play this audio clip. Well recognized, obviously, the return from Oklahoma. Iconic call, iconic play. Here is that for you.
Here's Wiley's kick. It's high. It holds up there. Rodgers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home. Holy moly. Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisles. Johnny the Jet Rodgers just tore them loose from their shoe.
That never gets old, does it, Johnny?
Well, Lyle Bridges knows how to call it.
I'm telling you, that still gives me goosebumps.
Every time I hear it. When you look back at that and you've heard it 1,000 times, can you believe it? I mean, that was some run. That was some event.
Well, I do believe it because like I said, you are what you think about most of the time.
Yeah, share that, Johnny.
I was fortunate enough to be with great other players.
Yeah,
like when we talk about Richie Glover, Jerry Taggy, Guy Ingles,
tremendous
all
players.
different players that we actually played with. We had just we had just a world-class team, and we're always focused on winning. Yeah. And we realized that winning isn't everything. But in Nebraska, we rated it right up there with oxygen.
Oh, that's right. Oh, absolutely.
It's pretty darn important.
Absolutely.
You got to win more. You got to win. It's like as much as you want to eat.
Well, I love what you said early on. You had this ability, this mindset that if you see it, think it, believe it, you can do it. Beyond most.
I don't have that by myself. Everybody. No matter whether you want to or not, whatever you think about the most, it happens.
It's in here. It's
It
in here, and
happens.
it's in here.
Once the universe, you set something out in the universe, if you think about it long enough, it's going to happen. And that's why you have to be careful of thinking bad things, because they happen too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, good things, it's a choice. It's not a chance, it's a choice.
Yep.
What do you really want to focus on? Focus is FOCUS. You follow one course until you succeed. You got to keep your eye on your goals.
I like that.
Thank you, Johnny. It's so hard these days in society as people are struggling right now. And to hear that's
They're
very
struggling
inspirational.
because they struggle because they think of struggling.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had setbacks. Setbacks are just a setup for comebacks.
Yes.
You know, it's just that you don't learn from the things that you do well. You learn from the things that you don't do well. Had I not gotten in trouble when I was in my freshman year in college, which I really wish I hadn't, but had I not, I would not have the dedication and perseverance to have to stay on it twice as much to get to where I was going. Because I had put myself in a hole. I had embarrassed myself. I embarrassed my family. I embarrassed the coaches. I embarrassed everybody. And to get back to a point, I'm the only person that ever won the Heisman Trophy who had a felony before time.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so you got to stick in there, and you got to really do whatever you got to do. It's almost impossible.
Yeah,
but it's possible.
Yes, and
It's
you had
possible.
you had a good support system. You had people backing you that believed in you, which I think helped you to believe in yourself.
That's exactly right. Because if they don't believe in me, we're not going to win national championships.
Absolutely.
We better get some support out here, because we are in this together for real. Not just me, our whole community, our whole systems. If we stick together, we can pull this on out, and we could set some records and do some things that had never had been done before.
Right.
And that's what we did. Things that hadn't been done before. And that's the way life is. All things that are coming haven't been done before.
Absolutely.
We don't know it.
Johnny, what makes a good punt returner?
We have to be fearless.
Yeah, I thought of that word about you when I was studying all this. You were just fearless. I don't think, did you ever have a fair catch?
Never. No fair catch.
I don't think so.
Have anybody ever scored when they fair caught?
No.
That's why I can't fair catch.
No, I don't think you ever did. And
I didn't.
And
Tom Osborne would tell you I've never fair caught.
And when I
called the plays. I called the plays.
Yeah.
So, I would call it. That was the difference between having a team that could block and could do things, because it wasn't ever a time that you go back and you say, well, maybe we'll fair catch this time. Maybe we won't run this time.
Yeah.
Maybe, something's going to happen. When every time we go back, we knew we were going to take it back every single time.
I thought what was amazing, you would catch it with 3, 4, 5 people around you, but yet you had this vision and that first step, and you're gone.
Well, I think that they were more afraid of me than I was of them.
Oh, I think so.
I never saw them. I could feel them. I never saw them.
Yeah.
I have to keep focus on the ball. You got to make sure you catch the ball first. So that's where my first consideration. If they let me catch it.
Yeah.
And really the rule was, and sometimes they broke the rule, that you were not supposed to hit the player until they caught the ball. So I was supposed to be able to catch it before you hit me.
Yeah.
Lots of times they would just run me over. And now these days, if you do that, you get kicked out of the game. But in those days, it was just a 15-yard penalty. So they would take the fifth, rather than let me get a touchdown, they would take the 15-yard penalty. They would just run me over.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you say 15, and that's funny because you average over 15 yards on your punt return. So they much would rather take that penalty. And then I got to read these numbers because these numbers are jaw-dropping. And if you're talking about punt return, if you're flirting around 10 yards average, I mean, then you're just playing with house money. Anything after that, 70 average 13.4, 71 16.6, and then 72 15.8. And that's not even mentioned on kick return, averaging at about 24 yards as well. So those numbers right there just kind of tell. I mean, Devin Hester, one of the best to do it. You could for the Chicago Bears, his best season ever, he put 17.1. And he's got, he's a Hall of Famer for that alone. So those numbers right there should illustrate the story on how effective that was.
John, just due to time, I want to pivot to the Alabama game in the Orange Bowl there. I found this picture in this article, and I think this is the
Rex
most.
Lowe.
Yes, I think this is so inspirational and such a beautiful picture. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Rex was ill, I understand. Is that correct?
Well, Rex got ill.
He got ill.
He got ill. He was a player, a former player, and he was one of the receivers on the receiver team.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was part of our team when he came down with some type of disease.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went to one of the Orange Bowls, he came to, and I had gotten the game ball for
Yes.
the most valuable player of the game, and I gave it to Rex. Because he was part of the team, and it was really a memorable time for him.
Oh, absolutely.
And
beautiful.
for our team. Yeah.
Well, it's just a beautiful picture. And to me, that just shows the type of person you are, caring, loving teammate, human being.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful picture.
But it's not just what he did for his teammates as a team. And I can attest to this personally. And we're kind of jumping ahead here, but this is just such a good tie-in. Quite a few years ago, I got to meet Johnny through a mutual friend. And I had a friend since 7th grade whose dad was an NCAA ref. And Rick's whole goal was to meet Johnny Rodgers. I mean, that was like his childhood dream. And this mutual friend set up where we had breakfast with Johnny. And not only did Johnny walk in and was so gracious, he brought a thank you note to Rick, saying thank you for being my number one fan. And, had written, you talked about being a fan and breathing oxygen and that kind of thing. He let us try on his Heisman ring. But also when I came to that, I had a daughter that was special needs and medically fragile. And she was a big time Husker fan. She loved her Huskers. And Johnny took a picture, and I'm going to hold this up. And I know you probably won't be able to see it, guys, but I'm going to try to hold this up to the camera. Am I on there, Harrison?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. This was my Hannah doing the Heisman pose with Johnny. And I'll tell you what, she talked about that for days. Johnny let her put the ring on. I have pictures of her with the ring on. And we just lost her. We lost her suddenly in March. But I mean, Johnny, this is the kind of thing, and this is the kind of heart that Johnny Rodgers has. It's not just about being a Heisman Trophy winner and being a sports champion. It's about being a life champion, a people champion. Johnny has done so many things in Omaha and the surrounding areas to facilitate so many wonderful organizations. A friend of mine, we asked for memories, if they had any memories, and we thought people pop up about the games and stuff. She said, and she has a special needs daughter. She said at Catherine's transition graduation, Johnny Rodgers was there, and he was so kind to all of the kids and so wonderful. And she said that just has stuck out in our mind for years. He is a sports legend, and I mean his records and all of that precedes him. But what he even has done since he's facilitated the community. He's facilitated and promoted love and inclusion. And Johnny, you amaze me at every turn. You really do. You're a wonderful human being, period.
Thank you.
I love the picture that says, I'm just an Omaha kid. I think that's what it says.
Oh,
I may not be saying that quite right, but I thought that with next to the street sign, Johnny Rodgers Boulevard. Harrison, would we happen to have another soundbite?
Let me dig those up. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll
go ahead. I want to go on to mention this in the Orange Bowl. You had another punt return against Alabama in that 72 Orange Bowl. So my question to you, which punt return was your favorite, Oklahoma or the one against Alabama?
Well, it has to be Oklahoma because that's the game of the century.
Yeah.
But I try to explain to people all the time too, that that was a great punt return. But the biggest play in that game was a 3rd down and 10 play in the 4th quarter, and Jerry Taggy was scrambling around. And if we don't get this first down, then we're going to have to turn the ball back over, and they're more than likely going to beat us. They're going to score because there's still a lot of time on the clock. But I was able to scrape it up off the ground and continue to drive, and we were able to hold the ball till the end of the game and to secure our victory. But without that little 3rd down catch, with nobody notices, we would not have won the game.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. I've seen that. It was a great play. Just to add, I didn't mean to interrupt you, John. Just to think that Alabama, the score 38-6. victory against Alabama. That's quite a feat.
Well, Bear Bryant, it was number 1 against number 2. And we were trying to make a statement for Devaney over Paul Bryant. And we just wanted to show what team was really the best. And they said they weren't going to kick the ball to me. But for some reason they did.
Yeah.
Actually, they didn't. It was running around the ground, and I went and got it, picked it up. Because like I said, I am trying to get the ball any kind of way that I can. People don't realize that I never really got the ball that often. I got a few passes, I got a few kicks, I got a few punts, I got a few runs, but it was only just a few of everything because you had to be able to figure out where I was going to be. So it made a lot more sense to move me around than it did to have me at one spot, like playing running back, and I run the ball 25 times, and I could play 5 spots and run it 5 times, and be more effective.
I miss that little wingback counter. That you'd always take off. That was always a great play.
Misdirection. Yeah, everybody go that way, and I come back this way.
See, that's what I loved about watching you. I was a football freak from a kid to this day, but the thing I loved about watching you was, you're dodge in and out. You would dart and dodge in and out, and they'd go this way and you'd go this way. I mean, you just had this sixth sense. But then when you'd go straight up that line, man, you knew exactly where to place your feet, so you weren't getting out of bounds at all.
No, it's just like a reflex. You don't think, you just do.
You just do.
Yeah, and I had the ability to stop and to start fairly quickly. And like I said, I was really trying to make people miss. A lot of people just find they will catch the ball and they will just go down, or they'll run into somebody because they want to hit somebody. My whole thing was to try to get missed and to elude you. And I see so many times that people don't really do that anymore. They just take the ball and just run into somebody or just run out of bounds or just, whatever. They don't have the same type of
Here's what gets me, Johnny. You think you had the game of the century. Alabama was outstanding. 73, Notre Dame. You scored 5 touchdowns.
I
and threw for 1.
I scored 4 and threw 1.
Oh, there you go. Well, I still think he's did 5. But I remember that game so memorable.
That was my last game, and we had to make a statement on our way out. Bob Devaney's last.
Yeah, that was an outstanding game. But I couldn't believe what an arm you have. You could have played quarterback.
Well, I did play quarterback when I was young in Pop Warren. At Tech Horseman, I played quarterback.
Yeah, that was a great pass. And by the way, that was to Frosty Anderson for the touchdown. That play. Harrison, you got a soundbite?
Yeah, let me make sure we got the right one. So we'll break, and we'll open that one up to wrap things up. And then we can compare the 2 sound bites.
I'm going to move on a little quick, but those were outstanding games. Then you, of course, go ahead and win the Heisman Trophy. But I got a little quiz question for you. Johnny, of course, was number 1 in the Heisman balloting. Does anybody know who 2 and 3 were?
402-464-5685. First one, get that in. We can probably throw you a ticket T-shirt. That's a good question.
Let's focus on number 3. I know Johnny knows who it is.
Oh, I hope so. Otherwise, I got hit too many times.
It's a Nebraska player, and that was Rich Glover.
Oh, that's
Rich Glover.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did. I forgot.
Oh, Richie was the Outland and Lombardi winner, and at the same time, he was 3rd in the Heisman. He was the only lineman that I can really remember that really ever came up for the Heisman. But he was third in line for the Heisman Trophy.
Can you imagine that? I mean, back in those days, Rich Glover, a defensive lineman, number 3.
Well, you know why, though? In the game of the century, you don't talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, if you go through the season, you look at the stats on a defensive player, and if they got 24 unassisted tackles in the season, they've done real quite well. Richie had 24 unassisted tackles in the one game.
Yeah.
In the game of the century. 24 unassisted tackles in one game.
That's unheard of.
You the man.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about it.
Does anybody know who number 3 is? Anything come through?
Nothing.
You talking about Greg Pruitt?
Greg Pruitt. Greg Pruitt from Oklahoma. And you two became pretty good friends.
We still are good friends.
Still are good friends. Yeah. That's amazing too. You know, the friendships with Oklahoma players, pretty tight.
Well, we have a pretty illustrious legendary legacy going on between Oklahoma and Nebraska, and they have no problem that they were the second best team in the country. at that particular point in time. That's nothing to frown about. And they realized we played and we won, and so they give us our kudos. But they were it's a very thin line, very thin line, and they had some great players. Most all their players, they had to have 10, 11, 12 people going to the pros at the same time.
Yeah.
So everybody did well. We pushed each other to higher limits and made a game worth remembering, that people still remember it over 50 years later.
Absolutely.
And they're not talking about just Nebraska. They're talking about Oklahoma and Nebraska,
Yeah.
how well they played. And like I said, right up until the last minute of the game, it was anybody's game.
I'd like to read a few quotes here that I researched that people said about you. Bob Devaney says, Johnny Rodgers was the most exciting player I've ever seen. He could turn a game around in an instant with his incredible speed and agility. Tom Osborne, Johnny Rodgers was a game changer. His ability to make plays in crucial moments was unmatched. He had a unique talent for finding the end zone. This is Barry Switzer. Johnny Rodgers was a nightmare for the defenses. You could never relax when he was on the field because he could score from anywhere. Bear Bryant. Rodgers was one of those rare players who could take over a game single-handedly. His talent and determination were something special. It even goes even further with newscasters. Keith Jackson. Johnny Rodgers was a human highlight reel. Every time he touched the ball, you expected something magical to happen. Brent Musburger from CBS Sports. Rodgers had an uncanny ability to find the smallest of gaps and exploit them. His vision and quickness were extraordinary. And I found even one from Howard Cosell, ABC Sports. Johnny Rodgers was a player who could electrify the crowd with his sheer athleticism. He was a joy to watch and a nightmare for opponents. How's that make you feel when you hear these, John? That's quite a deal.
I'm glad I caught their attention. But like I like to really emphasize too, you anything you can do by yourself ain't big enough. Teamwork makes your dreams work.
Yeah.
You don't win Heisman's by yourself or national championships by yourself or go through life by yourself. It's always in conjunction with other people that you make your greatest accomplishments, and teamwork makes your dreams work.
Yeah.
And I just want to emphasize that because there's too many people. We have to learn, and one thing I learned from an early age is how to interact with other people. And when you can interact in a way to your teammates, when my teammates went back on a punt, I stopped calling left punt returns because I would sometimes go right.
Yeah,
I stopped going right because I sometimes go left. So I would go back in the huddle and I would say, everybody get a block. That was the play I called. Everybody get a block, and they did. And I have a punt return against Oklahoma State that I go out when I'm speaking, and I have a audience participation. I show the film, and we count the blocks, and we go 1, 2, and you can see 3, 4, and it comes right down to the 10 where everybody got a block.
Wow.
I mean, they were committed to getting a block. And Richie was tenacious. Richie, I could count on him.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst thing is that you wanted to be is on Sunday mornings during films or something, if it showed up where you didn't get a block.
Well, I noticed when your play elevated everybody else's. I mean, I watched a lot of your returns, and those linemen were down the field very fast, very quick.
Well, that's why it didn't elevate everybody else's. Everybody was elevated.
Yes.
Everybody was elevated at the same time that we were supposed to. That's what teamwork is. I didn't motivate. They motivated themselves because it's important, just as important as what they were doing as what I was doing.
Harrison, do we have something?
Yeah, we got to throw it the break. We're over the clock here.
Over the clock.
Yeah.
Okay,
so when we come back on the other side, we'll have that clip break. We'll just got to call it. We'll see what that is as well. So don't go anywhere. What's next 24? We got Johnny the Jet Rodgers as our guest today. We'll be back on the other side.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Fairway's Season Fresh Oktoberfest Bratwurst or Chili Cheese Bratwurst. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. What's next? 24. Harrison Arns on the board. We got the host Mike and Sherry, as well as our guest today, Johnny the Jet Rodgers. We do got a question from the Allo VIP line. We got Mike calling in. Mike, I know you got a question for Johnny Rodgers, trying to understand if it's true about some wandering fields down to slow him down. So, Mike, I'll let you go ahead and ask the question to the man himself.
Mike, are you woke yet?
Oh, absolutely, Johnny. Going to work out. Hey, I've met you a couple times. I'll try and be brief, but I got to just make a couple of comments, too. I was kidnapped and moved to Iowa when I was 11 in 1970, but I'm a Husker historian. I mean, I can't remember my wife's birthday, but I can tell you a score from 1965 when I was 6 years old. In fact, that day, I think Richie had 22 tackles. Not 24, but
well, you may be right. You may be right, but he might have got two people at one time.
That's true.
He's a bad man. But it was a lot of tackles, and like I said, a lot of people don't get that many tackles in a season. That's my point.
Exactly. And I got to just tell you, you are the greatest Husker of all time. Literally, there's been thousands and thousands of people that have built up the Husker program. But we don't win the two national titles without you. And there's a lot of guys that we don't, and then it doesn't get rolling. But I was living over in Iowa, unfortunately, at the time. 72 game. Iowa State watered their field down to keep you from being so explosive. Do you remember that? It was terrible.
Do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do remember them doing that. Yeah, they muddied it.
Yeah. So I wanted to know if you remember that.
That was Iowa State, right? They tied us, didn't they?
Yeah, they missed the extra point in the last second, and otherwise they'd have beat us. But that was that spoke to your ability. But the other thing I just want to say, if I got a quick second, so I lived in Iowa, and there will never be a buildup like there was for that game of the century. I lived in Iowa. And that's all anyone talked about. Probably 8-9 weeks before the game was played, everyone knew it was coming down to Nebraska and Oklahoma. And there has never been a buildup like there was for that game. That's all anyone talked about for 8 or 9 weeks. The pressure on you guys just had to be tremendous. There's never been anything like it. There might be big games now, and there's a 2 or 3 week buildup. That was virtually 4/5 of the season buildup. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, everybody knew that the national championship was going to come down to Oklahoma and Nebraska, and they would follow it game by game, to make sure. And we were leading in, we were winning every game, they were winning every game, and so it had the perfect build-up to be the game of the century. And I'm glad it worked out. Really glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm running out of time here, so we'll let Mike go. But Mike, appreciate the question.
Thanks, Mike.
Nonetheless.
Johnny, this is the last minute of the show, and we always do this as a tradition. We like to open up the mic to you. You get to speak to the community and just share anything you want to share.
Well, I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I have quite a few different accolades. I've won all different types of awards and things, and I have a great family. But I think the thing that I make the most gratification at this point in time is not all the things that I've done, but it's the scholarships and the educational opportunities that I've been able to give our community throughout Nebraska for Metro Community College, because Metro Community College is one of the best universities, I think, in the goddamn world. And it's a simulation of Tech High. I went to Tech, and we had a trade school, and they closed it down. Metro came up, and they made it bigger and better. And now we have a lot of different people that are able to get into college, and we're able, because of our community, we're able to give. We just gave $500,000 for the scholarships away here just last couple of weeks ago. And we'll probably during our dinner, we'll give another $500,000 away. And we've been able to procure government grants to give millions of dollars away for people to get education in the trades. And that's going to really make a difference in our kids' future as time goes on. And all the people in the community that help to do that, please contribute to Johnny Rodgers, the technical trades scholarship program over at Metro Community College, because they're just, it's one of the better programs that we could have going, and we need, like I said, teamwork. We need more people to join our team.
Johnny, thank you for today. This has been a delight. It's a treasure of my life. I know, Sherry, this is really a big deal for us. We thank you so much.
Amazing.
And just keep on making great memories.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.